And welcome everybody to my cooking channel. I just want to begin by saying that today I'm not wearing a hat. As you see, I believe that my hair is fit for the camera. Tonight we're having something interesting. We're going to be doing meatballs. I was going to say the Portuguese way, but I'm scared to say that because I could possibly get it wrong. So I'm going to call them the Sunnyridge meatballs, which are fantastic for this time of the year. And let's get started. Now, as most of you already know, my videos and recipes are all based on food that's available in the house. As you see, that bottle has been in most of my videos. I've hardly used it. So we use what we have. Let's start with the meat. There it is. It's about 400 grams, I think it is. I can't remember, to be honest. 1 tomato, thinly chopped. And the garlic, in this case, has to be thinly chopped. The reason for that is because this has all got to go into the meatballs, except for the tomato, the onions, there they are, also thinly chopped. But the coriander, which is also thinly chopped, and the garlic, are all, or most of it, going to go and be joined with the meat, with a mince there. And 1 egg yolk. So, yeah, I'm going to edit this so that I can get started. You're not going to be seeing me mix it all up, but you'll certainly be seeing me cook it. So we'll see just now. So taking it from where we left off, I've now managed to mix everything up, which is a pity. I'm unable to show you the process, which is very interesting because it can get complex to get this done. Here's the outcome of mixing the mince balls with the little bit of garlic. I did not use all of it. Here's the rest of it. I used the smaller pieces, and I used most of the coriander and the egg yolk to make this mix. And a tot of that red wine. Now, you could use lemon, you could use wine, vinegar, whatever you have available. Doesn't necessarily have to be that. Now, I'm going to make the refogado, as I always do. The sauteing process to me is vital because you always want a little bit of sauce. So, we're going to throw the onions in there and let that saute nicely. You've seen that done a number of times. I'm going to turn it up just a little so the process doesn't take forever. And I'm going to add just a fraction more of olive oil. There it is. Just to make the most of this. There we go. Excellent. Now I've thrown salt and pepper as well into the meatball. So that consists of the following ingredients. 400 grams of mince. In this case, extra lean, doesn't matter. Salt, pepper, coriander, and an egg yolk. Simple. There you go. Mix it all up, turn them into little balls. I got 7. I could have maybe got 8. I don't know. I think I made them a little too big. And after all of this, we still have the tomatoes to throw into the sauteing process because we want to make a nice sauce. Now, there are various ways of doing the mince balls, which include putting flour on them, putting breadcrumbs. You know, there are various ways of doing it. I'm doing this as simply and as easily as possible so that everyone can do it and nobody even finds reason to justify not cooking at home. I know after work, the last thing you want to do is cook. If you do a bit of prep before you leave, or you have somebody in the house that can prep some of the things for you so that when you get home, all you have to do is put it together and cook. It just makes it so much simpler. So, okay, so we're going to move on to the next process, which is putting the tomatoes. But guess what? I forgot to throw my trademark, bay leaf. Some people have something to say about that. You know what? You don't have to put the bay leaf. I put the bay leaf. I like the bay leaf, and so I put it in. It just gives it a Portuguese flair, I would like to call that. That I think I can say, because the Portuguese, if they don't have a bay leaf tree in their house, they have vast quantities of bay leaves in the house. Dry or wet, doesn't matter. Or green, natural, don't even know how to say that. Right, so this has taken couple of minutes because we're sauteing it in low heat. That's how we want it, and it's almost ready to throw the tomatoes in. Let's throw that in. It's just the one tomato, so we want all of it. Whole tomato in. There we go. I have put salt already, and I think it's critical that you don't overdo the salt. Remember, the salt in the meatballs already, but I think a little bit of salt. When I say little, just a real small pinch, just to ensure that there's nothing missing, because you don't want it to be, food is lacking salt, to try and make up for it later on. It's just not the same. You've got to try and get it right from the beginning. But it's best to have it under-salted than to have it over-salted, of course. So we're just going to wait for that. And as the sauteing process continues, the tomatoes are starting to become ready. And I'm just going to add a little bit of water there, like I normally do. Okay. Let that heat up a little so that you can add a little bit more yet again, bit by bit, to get it all done. And the rest of the coriander. Now, I'm sure there are some of you out there thinking, this guy puts coriander for breakfast. Yes, I do. Coriander for me is one of those vital herbs. Not only does it make it taste good, but it just gives it color. It's stunning. It's a stunning product. It's really, really good. Now, the reason behind this exercise, some of you may ask also, I'm just going to take a little bit of garlic, extra. This is a bit of a waste. I've put too much garlic into this container. I'm just throwing in a little bit more garlic. I don't trust the amount of garlic I put into the meatballs. There we go. Don't want to overdo it either. And we're running out of water yet again. Throw a little bit more in there. Okay. The rest of the coriander. You don't want to throw the meatballs prematurely. You want to make sure this process is done correctly. I mean, you could just throw everything in if you want to, but there's just a little bit of art to cooking. If you're patient enough, you'll make your meals a little bit better than your friends, families, mother-in-law, so on. It's like with everything. You've got to stir things up. You've got to mix them. You've got to cook them. You've got to prepare them. You've got to give them time. You've got to give them a little bit of love. There we go. A little bit more water. This is something that you just pick up. It's like with everything. If you cook once a year, you're not going to be able to make this properly. Not that you won't get away with it. That's how I started. Okay, so we're almost ready to throw the meatballs in. But before we do that, some of the ingredients that I use are for luck. So this is a pepper, garlic and tomato mix. I just want to give the sauteing process a little bit more color because I've only added 1 tomato. So 2 spoons of that, make that 3 teaspoons. And voila, mix that nicely. Now the spoon has a little bit of sauce in, so I'm just going to throw some water on the spoon. Excellent. Because the idea is to get sauce to go with the meatballs. Now I do have a rice that I've carried from a day or 2 ago already, which I will still use to go with these meatballs. Now I can show it to you later. But I think that's not as important as making sure that you get the meatballs right. So, let's do this. Throw them in. Now you note that I'm having to use one hand, so this one I'm just going to throw in. There you go. Separate them gently. Throw a little bit more water, just a fraction. And I'm going to turn the heat down and come back after 5 minutes, turn the meatballs around, cook them for another 5 or 6, 10 minutes maximum, and eventually they'll be cooked. So I'll show you the final process in a moment. So it's been about 5-6 minutes, round about. I'm just going to shake this a little, like that. It doesn't necessarily mean they turn, just making sure they're not getting stuck. It's on number 3 there, so let's see what's going on. Yeah, that looks good. I suppose they're not the most attractive meatballs you've ever seen. You could add a little bit more color, tomato, other spices, red peppers, yellow peppers, green ones. You can pretty much play around with food. This is the thing, is you've got to sometimes be creative and do your own thing. And turn that around. Can't remember if I've turned this one around, to be honest. No, I haven't. And this is cooking well. Just let that go. Not a violent form of cooking. It's not an Italian pasta dish. It's not a number of things. It's just gently going along. So we're going to close it, continue, come back after 5-10 minutes. So after a minute or two we come back, and you might ask, so how do we know it's ready? Well, color is one of them. Time is another. If something has been cooking for 10, 15, 20 minutes, surely it has to start cooking. And then of course, here's the final test. All the way down, absolutely. I don't see any blood coming out of that. That's tomato there. So this looks like it's going places. So yeah, I'm just going to turn it one more time. Give it another 5 minutes. It's now on number 3 there. That's just to help you guys with the temperatures for those that are not keen cook chefs. And yeah, this is certainly almost there. We'll be back to do the final, to show the final result of everything. Right, and we've come to the end of the exercise. The lighting might have changed slightly. And no, this is not a satanic ritual. This is just a power outage. In South Africa, these things happen. We haven't had one for a while, so we can count our blessings. But yeah, we were fortunate to have come to the end of this cooking exercise prior to the load shedding cut. So I'm going to try and find a way to offload this all onto here, so that you can at least take a good look at the outcome. Now, this is proving more difficult than anticipated, because if I drop everything in there, we're going to be splatting. So I've opted for another way out. Let's do this with a spoon. Take this out of here. And then we'll do the final draining of the sauce. Wait, baby. But this is looking very good. It's smelling very good. And yes, baby.
It's above.
Yes, it is. Okay, so let's just drain the rest of the sauce. And then we're going to try and make some sense out of all of this. I've got a feeling it's something to do with the fact that I didn't start with a scripture. So, forgive me, Father. There we go. There we go. That looks delicious. So, the mince balls are ready. And tomorrow, this is what we're going to be having. Delicious mince balls with the rice that was left over from yesterday, There it is. Cool drink, bread, whatever you have, salad. Hope the light shine there a little. There you go. There we go. That looks a bit better. So this is absolutely spectacular. So easy. It's filling all the protein you need, and the starch. This is the chorizo rice, which is on my channel. You can go look it up on my previous videos. And I want to thank you all for joining me this evening. And don't give up. As you see, even without lights, without power, we're able to cook and make a meal out of the dire conditions. So thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, whatever you do, help me grow this channel. I'm sure this has been helpful to a lot of you. Thank you very much. God bless.